You know what? I'm not gonna lie. 2025 was a bit of a shit show. Oh, not in terms of like, movies or anything like that. No, I mean just in life. It was kind of a fucking shit show. I'm not gonna even lie there. But you know what? The movies were pretty good. So yeah, just like before, the rules from before, basically this is my top 10 movies of 2025. And yeah, to be fair, there were a lot of good movies in 2025. But, it's just it was a rough year. It was a very rough year. But you know what? Just to get the positives out, just saying, like, yeah, the movies were great. A lot of entertainment was great. But yeah, just getting to the list. Yeah, I'll be mentioning my honorable mentions. There are films that I have missed this year, like Good Boy. No, not that old 2000 movie. I mean the new Good Boy. I also missed that movie Shelby Oaks from Chris Stuckman. I missed a few movies, including the sequel to Sisu, which would have 100% been in my list, but you know, can't see them all. So yeah, before we begin, let's start with the honorable mentions. That would be The Colors Within, Dog Man, One of Them Days, Neza 2, Paddington in Peru, Colorful Stage, the movie, A Miku Who Can't Sing, The Legend of Ochi, Thunderbolts, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, Ballerina, Materialist, Elio, F1, Drop, Superman, Fantastic Four: The First Steps, a Minecraft movie, Predator: Killer of Killers, The Naked Gun, Nobody 2, The Bad Guys 2, K-Pop Demon Hunters, The Legend of Hay 2, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle movie, Eleanor the Great, The Long Walk, Downton Abbey: The Grand Finale, Weapons, Captain America: Brave New World, One Battle After Another, Snoopy Presents a Summer Musical, Roofman, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid: A Lonely Dragon Wants to Be Loved, The Toxic Avenger, The Monkey, Predator: Badlands, Black Phone 2, Now You See Me, Now You Don't, Wicked for Good, Zootopia 2, Wake Me Up Dead Man, and Avatar: Fire and Ash. So yeah, like the rules before, my top 10 movies of 2025. And yep, no matter what you say, this is my list. This is my personal films of 2025. Surprisingly, a few of these films have not gotten the attention they deserve. Like, they have not at all. Like, I've seen a few people talk about them, but never really acknowledging their existence. So, yeah, I'll try to be quick with every single movie because I already reviewed these movies on my letterbox, and I'll put a link below for my letterbox. But yeah, let's get to this. This is my top 10 favorite movies of 2025. Better Man. So with something like Better Man, so I have never heard of Robbie Williams, and yes, I understand that there is a big fan base in Europe for Robbie Williams, and yeah, not much of America loves Robbie Williams that much, but yeah, and so when I saw that he was basically making a kind of very interesting biopic where he's basically a CGI monkey, I was interested to see how it went. And it was from the director of, The Greatest Showman, which I understand people have mixed opinions about that movie, but a lot of people say that the music in that movie was pretty good. And let me tell you, I was kind of blown away because with A Better Man, even though I've never heard of Robbie Williams or I don't know him that well, but I have to say this movie just, man, even from a visual standpoint to music video to storytelling standpoint, it is very, very good. Like, not even kidding you. I don't know, like I said, personally don't know the guy myself, but like, I have to admit, this movie kind of brings new light into like how biopics are made because like I understand biopics kind of bring a lot of more fictional aspect to the real story of the actual person, and especially with something like Weird Al Yankovic's, his biopic was pretty funny. But I feel that this movie really does, even though I can understand that probably some of this didn't really happen, but I will say I was highly emotionally invested and I really liked where it was going. And, no matter how you feel about Robbie Williams, I think when it comes to the ending, like literally the ending of the movie is just telling him, you don't have to feel for me. You don't have to like feel like, oh, bad about me, or even if you hate me. Like he basically doesn't give a shit about what he thinks about people. He literally gives people the middle finger and is just like, so yeah, fuck off. And I'm just like, you know, I really don't like people, especially when they try to look like they're the good guy or something like that. And like people, nowadays who try to see like they're this great hero or feeling like they're better, even though people know them as a piece of shit person. So, however you feel about Robbie Williams, I will give him high respects that he does not give a shit about what you think about him. And even though some people have issues with him, some people do like him, some people don't. But whatever you think about him, he clearly, after seeing this movie, he clearly doesn't give a fuck. And honestly, I have to give the movie, even for how visually great the storytelling is, and also just the acting is great in this movie too, and just the emotional standpoint. I actually did felt emotional for this movie. And yeah, just the visual in this movie, oh my gosh, visual storytelling at its peak with this film. It is so good. But yeah, I have to give high respects, and that's why you should watch Better Man, because Better Man is definitely worth your time. Presence. So, I heard about this movie. I've heard of Steven Soderbergh. I think this might be my first ever Steven Soderbergh movie. I haven't seen any of his other movies at all, but this is probably the first film I've seen of his. And then the second one being The Black Bag, which not good. Just guys, it's not a good movie. Just letting you know. Maybe you think differently and that's fine, but like to me it wasn't good. But yeah, Presence just basically was the visual standpoint. It's kind of a POV movie where we see that, I mean, spoilers, the ghost. The ghost in the movie basically is the POV. It's not that, you're basically following the characters, you're following the ghost and basically of what the ghost sees. And it really is this emotional, powerful journey, and it leads to probably one of the most kind of creepy, but also kind of really sad endings. It honestly is worth your time seeing. You should definitely check it out. And yeah, no, depending on how you feel about it, it's, definitely going to be great. It's definitely not scary. It's not scary at all. Except, like I said, the ending is a little bit creepy depending on how you are. If you're a little bit freaked out about ghost stories, and the ending is a little bit of a creep out factor, but it is also kind of really depressing and sad, and kind of a little bit uplifting once you find out what the ending implies. But like I said before, it's a really great time. Really great directing, really great performances. Some people, like my brother, had issues with the main girl. But honestly, I thought she was fine. I thought she played the role great. Honestly, the movie is pretty good too. Mickey 17. Yeah, I saw the movie Parasite, loved that movie, and saw the director was doing another movie, and yeah, I really love Mickey 17. It's kind of the idea that, like, what if basically you were immortal, but you somehow ended up being in a different body? Like you're a clone of a clone of a clone of a clone. It's that kind of movie. And it is also kind of very disturbing. It's also kind of trying to be, this one guy, this one survivor. Basically, there's so many Mickeys, but, and I can say Robert Pattinson was very, very good in the role. And you really do feel bad for him, especially with his clones and stuff. Except for like this one clone that he has to deal with throughout the entire movie, which is kind of like a more douchey version of his 17. It's like Mickey 18, and this is Mickey 17, and it's just kind of really ridiculous how the clones just gradually get more meaner and meaner and meaner. But like I said before, a lot of like the movie is kind of an emotional roller coaster, and you really do feel bad for the character, even though all he's doing is just trying to live his life. He was just trying to see if he can survive. And yeah, I don't know too much about the deep things about this movie, but I can say for what it was, for what I did understand, yeah, it was a very powerful movie, and you should definitely check it out. Caught stealing. Finally, he's not doing that stupid ass Elvis voice. Now, to be fair, sorry, I kind of forgot the actor right now at the moment, the name of the actor, but basically he was the boyfriend of Zoe from Zoe 101 in a later season of the show. Yes, I am a person who grew up with Zoe 101. I was a Nickelodeon kid back then, been also a Cartoon Network kid, Disney Channel kid. Like I said, I grew up with a lot of things and watched those shows, so I knew the actor even way before he basically got so many other roles, and now he's in this standalone movie called Caught Stealing. This is based on a book and also from a director who usually makes movies where there isn't much of a happy ending, but this movie surprisingly did have like a very, kind of like a little bit of uplifting ending, more so. There is kind of this thing where I started to realize originally I was going to put Nobody 2 on this list, but I decided not to, because after I realized, with storytelling like this, you're dealing with a main character who's trying to survive or just trying to, get away from these assassins, terrorists, and usually you like those characters who have a bit of vulnerableness to him. And with someone like the main character of Nobody 2, I mean, he's already kind of an invincible badass. I mean, he'll get hurt, but by the end of the story, he's gonna survive, and he's gonna survive with his family. And yeah, that's basically what happens in Nobody 2. Sorry if that's spoilers, but I mean, it's that's kind of how I feel. Like, it feels like they're very invincible. But with the main character of Caught Stealing, you're gonna wonder, is he gonna survive this by the end? And honestly, I really feel bad for him throughout the whole movie. All he's doing is just trying to live his life, trying to get rid of his trauma, trying to help his mother out, and he's dealing with all of this BS throughout the whole movie. And now you're just trying to follow his journey, trying to see if he can get out of all of this BS. And let me tell you, the ending, when you get there, when you get to that scene where he's just holding it, if you've seen the movie where he's just holding that wheel of the car and he's trying to choose what he's planning on doing with the bad guys in that car, it is the most satisfying thing ever. But you also realize it's kind of a redemption of what he did. It's kind of a redemption in a sense, or and he just kind of got rid of the trauma that he had before, and now he's basically facing life again, trying to escape it and trying to move on. And yeah, this movie is really, you just want the character to survive in the end, even though all of his friends, that he tried to mingle with, trying to have good friends with, but it just didn't go his way. Like I said, great directing, great action, honestly great performances, and yeah, Matt Smith, playing kind of this douchey mohawk thief, it's just kind of, this is probably the role that he was born to play. Even though he played Doctor Who, but whatever. Yeah, this was a pretty good movie, gotta admit. It honestly, definitely worth seeing. day the Earth blew up, a Looney Tunes movie. A freaking animated Looney Tunes movie in theaters, finally. And barely anybody see it. What is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with animated fans nowadays? You get a chance to finally see a movie in theaters and you don't fucking support it because of the factor that you didn't get a chance to see it. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like, okay, a good amount of people supported it, but like, why didn't so many more Looney Tunes fans support it? Or at least animation fans support it? Oh, because CGI is more profound to more audiences than 2D animation? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Like, come on. Daffy and Porky, I mean, in a movie together, and also just the movie's animation is so good. And, you know, the jokes are so good. It's really funny. It's really entertaining. Man, I'm hoping Coyote versus Acme is the film. I mean, this and, you know, Coyote versus Acme was going to get canceled because Warner Brothers doesn't give a shit about Looney Tunes anymore. But now they do. They give a shit because of the factor that they're starting to realize that these things make money. But at the same time, for gosh sakes, well, no, actually, they, you know, Dave Zaslav sold it to Ketchup Entertainment, and Ketchup actually cares more about Looney Tunes, but we should too. For gosh sakes, go buy the Looney Tunes Golden Collection. Go buy the Blu-ray of this movie. For fuck's sakes, I love Looney Tunes. We need more movies like this. Fully animated Looney Tunes movies, you know, instead of just the crappy whatever live action hybrid. Like, okay, Coyote versus Acme is kind of like that too, but that's why I'm supporting it too, because Looney Tunes needs to return back to the big screen, because I love stuff like this. And the plot itself is just as ridiculous as ever, but you know, like I said, love me, Daffy and Porky. They're a very good duo when it comes to just, and you, like I said, I actually do love the personality of Daffy more than I did than in previous iterations. Not to say that his previous iteration of his selfishness was not that bad, but I actually do like this kind of more friendlier, kind of kooky Daffy. This actually is a much more fun Daffy than, you know, the Daffy that we've currently, most people know back in like the 2000s, the 2010s. But yeah, love this movie. Go buy the Blu-ray, watch it on streaming, just watch this movie. Let's support 2D animation. Let's support, you know, the progression of animation. Let's support animated films. Let's support Looney Tunes, for fuck's sakes, man. I love me Looney Tunes, okay? Doraemon the movie, Nobita's Art World Tales. You're probably wondering, how did you watch this movie? It's not available on streaming and stuff like that. I have my ways. And like I said, I think I already put it in my letterbox that I've been going on a Doraemon marathon. I really love the character, even to the point that I even have a bunch of plushies of the character. I got imported. And yeah, I like the plushies, but I need to sell some of them too. I've been selling them on my Whatnot and stuff, eBay, trying to find ways to just get rid of some of them because I have a little bit too much for the space that I live in right now. But still, love the character, love the movies. Not much the show. I've tried to watch a few episodes of the show, and I don't know, I think the movies just do it, the adventures of the movie just do it more for me. And I enjoyed most of the films, and honestly, I think this is my favorite film so far out of all the other movies, because yeah, this one involves the character Doraemon and Nobita and his friends just going into the world where they basically are kind of using art, basically trying to use art to try to save the day. You know, it's a little adventure with the friends, and yeah, they meet this girl who basically is part, you find out later, is part an art piece, also part of a real person. It's kind of very a little bit of complicated at how that goes, but yeah, this movie was very colorful, very adventurous, and the lesson in the end of the movie just like it really touched my heart. It really touched my heart. You should definitely, that message, even like, it just shows you that, you know how people always say that anybody can be a filmmaker? Well, anyone, I truly believe, can be an artist as long as there's heart to it. There's true heart to being an artist, and this movie definitely shows it. So yeah, if you somehow, in some miracle, somehow manage to see this movie, you should definitely see it. Not just a goof. So yeah, I kind of missed the anniversary screenings of these movies. I'm sorry, of this movie. Of a Goofy movie, and yeah, I remember liking it back in middle school. I remember growing up, and I do have a, have a soft spot for this movie. Now, when it comes to the story of how this movie was made, damn, like, not just a goof is honestly really a really great documentary. It just shows you the love and passion that these characters show, like, that these, it shows the love for like the characters, including the voices of Goofy and the voice of Max, as well as showing just how these creators, the directors, the artists, and just showing you the making of how this movie really did touch so many people and why it's still watched even today. So yeah, this documentary shows really, the heart of being an animator, the difficulties, and just the overall, when studios just need to learn how to shut the fuck up and just let art be, and let just art run. Just let them try to succeed as much as they can, because yeah, there is passion, there's love for stuff like this. Goofy movie's a great movie, well, a very great movie, and this documentary just shows how this movie still touches the heart of so many people's years later. Rental families. So I already went on a whole rant about this. Well, not really a rant, mostly just how I feel about what this movie did and how it did something that I've kind of been wanting for so long. I'll try not to get too much into this. You can just check out my letterbox of how I felt about it, because I really did put a lot into that. But yeah, I really felt that this movie did something that I don't think I have seen before. So yeah, we have Brendan Fraser once again. I mean, loved him in The Whale. Now I love him in Rental Family. Yeah, this movie is basically about a guy who is living in Japan and he's an actor. However, then he gets basically into the rental service job, and I think a majority of people who know, at least when watching this movie, any anime fan would probably know what the idea of a rental service is. If you ever seen the anime or read the manga Rent a Girlfriend, it's basically a similar thing, only he has to be rented out in several ways. He can be a friend, he can be a family member. It's kind of very a weird culture shock in a sense, the idea that there's basically, Japan allows you to basically rent anyone, rent a friend, rent a girlfriend, rent a boyfriend, rent a brother or a sister, basically, honestly, anybody, just for the emotional standpoint, which I kind of understand, but I kind of also kind of find the negative aspects to it as well. So that's just how I generally feel about it. But I will say that I really like the portrayal that Brendan Fraser brings here. I mean, I've seen so many anime, and I've also seen, in a way, some Japanese dramas where they just don't know how to represent a reaction of an American. Like, usually it's very stereotypical, especially, but to be fair, we should not judge either. We've kind of done the same thing, especially in the past. Not gonna bring much there, but yeah, yeah, but when I see anime, I just kind of, and they just bring in American or an English speaking person in it, they kind of really don't know how to represent like what an average one looks like. And I feel with Brendan Fraser, they do give legit, like, complete reactions. Like, literally the opening of this movie is him going into a staged funeral for this one guy who wants to feel like he actually had value or something like that. But of course, his character has no idea about what's going on, and so literally when he just gets up out of the coffin for like for like 3 seconds, he gets the right reaction, and even I kind of freaked out a little bit too, because it kind of does catch you off guard. You're just like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? What the shit is this? But yeah, like I said, Rental Family, oh my gosh, the visual in this movie, the cinematography is beautiful, and yeah, just the story itself is beautiful as well. And also the owner of the rental place, there's this one moment in this movie where at first you think, oh, this, like, okay, like that's kind of cool that he has this, but then later on there's this kind of, he goes back to like this one moment, and something completely just kind of shocks you a little bit, but at the same time you're not surprised if you really think about what you're seeing right now. And honestly, like I said, I think this movie is just really heartwarming, really well done. I really teardrop a lot more, especially, for example, him taking care of this elderly man who's just in the near death situation, and he wants to fulfill one last promise that he's always wanted to do. So yeah, like I said, great movie. You should definitely go check it out. Yeah, you should definitely check it out. Sinners. So yeah, I don't know what to even say other than the directing is great. The characters are great, especially this one actor who technically wasn't. He's supposed to be a singer. The actor technically wasn't originally an actor. He's a singer, and then this is kind of his first movie. But for his first movie, he did a really solid performance. I mean, whoa! I'm just gonna be like, wow, you did awesome, man. Your performance was incredible. I have to admit, his performance was really great in this movie. I have to admit. Yeah, there is, like I said, there's kind of a beginning to end of this film, where it does take place. The beginning literally takes place in the ending point of the movie, but then we get back to it by the end of the movie. It's just honestly really good. Michael B. Jordan playing these twins. I will say, like I said, I love Michael B. Jordan. He's a great actor. I think he does an incredible job in this movie, but he basically plays twin brothers in this movie, and I will admit, besides the colors, I don't feel like the brothers had distinct personalities. I mean, okay, maybe one was more meaner than the other one. I think that's kind of the distinctive point, but I didn't feel like there was much in character in terms of differences between the two brothers. But yeah, basically I saw this movie on IMAX, and yeah, the battles between the vampires, just the overall atmosphere of this movie, and just like, oh, the music, man. The barn scene with the most biggest concert there. You know, the kid, the singer kid, you know, the actor. Like I said, sorry if I don't know his name at the moment, but yeah, he basically sings this song, and then you basically, through visual storytelling, you see the generations and generations of music throughout the world. It's just so visual. It is visually amazing. It is so good. I just love it. It was so good. The ending itself was very kind of emotionally, it's kind of really sad, honestly. It was really sad, but at the same time, there is this kind of uplifting that hopefully that that it's going to be better later on. That's basically what the movie tries to do. However, you know, as much as the director did a great job with the vampire stuff, I will say that he kind of messed up a little bit. With, for example, there's this scene where our main character is trying to fight with the vampires in the ocean, in basically the riverbank, and the main vampire kind of is like fighting in the river with him. But did they forget that vampires can't touch water? Like, I didn't know until later. I actually watched a James Rolfe video from Cinemassacre, like the "You Know What's BS" kind of thing, and he actually made a point that, like, yes, you don't have to have holy water. You actually vampires can get killed with regular plain ass water. So yeah, he kind of fucked, the director kind of fucked up there, or maybe his vampires aren't allergic to regular water. I don't know, but yeah. Other than that, yeah, no, this movie, I'm not even kidding you. When I was on the edge of my seat, and then when the credits of the roll in the movie, I was just like, I had like these goosebumps all over. Like, and this movie, I don't know. I feel like I'm never ever gonna forget this movie. Like, ever. I'm just never going to forget about it. Sinners, see it as many times as you want. Heck, I still need to see it again. I only saw it once when it was in theaters and IMAX when it came out, and I just need to see it again. Yeah, it's that good. But it's not number one. Number one is a film that I think a lot of people have never heard of, but also a lot of people might think that this might be breaking the whole top 10 movie things, because you could argue that this is not considered a movie, but it actually is in terms, because there's actually going to be another part to this. Is going to be a part 2. But yeah, my number one pick. My number one pick of my favorite movie of 2025 has to go to Virgin Punk Clockwork Girl. Now, I know a lot of anime fans are going to say, like, wait a minute. This is a 30-minute short movie. Like, it's a short movie, right? Because this only lasted for 30 minutes. However, it had a theatrical release, and there was a behind the scenes that made it kind of an hour and a half, which technically doesn't count. But, here's the thing. The director has made it very clear. Don't know the name of the director at the moment. I apologize. I'm just trying to, like, get my feelings towards the movie at the same time. I'll just leave the director here. But yeah, I know the director has created really great previous other anime movies before. But yeah, no. Yeah, with this movie, yes, it is only 30 minutes long, but the director did say that this is only part one, kind of like Wicked and Wicked for Good. Only those movies were like an hour, 2 hour flicks, but this movie's only like 30 minutes. However, if you know that part two might be 30 minutes, and no, basically probably 40 or basically 50 minutes, if it would be 50 minutes long, then technically, and that would be part two, and you put these films together, basically it would be a runtime of a film. And yeah, there is going to be a part two. So yeah, this technically counts as part one of a film. And you know what? I'm going to count it because I want to talk about it, because this film, oh my gosh, this kind of brings me back to like the time of like anime from like the 80s to 90s. It's just the action really good. The story honestly really solid. Even if it's a story that you've heard before, it's freaking solid. I mean, basically it's this organization that gets these robotic type kind of like clone assassins trying to like, I don't know, take down these other types of robots, I guess. These kind of villain type robots or something like that. They're basically hired assassins, and we see that this little girl basically grows up into an adult woman, only to go back to little girl again, because this one guy is obsessed with her and tries to train her into being training her to be his personal assassin. And like I said, it's kind of very fucked up in a sense when you think about it, but that's just anime in general. If you really think about it, a lot of action anime in general, it's kind of a really fucked up story, but also pretty fucking amazing. The action in this movie, oh my gosh, when I saw this on the big screen, I was just like blown away. Like my whole like reaction was just like I said, Yes. Does it count as a movie? Absolutely, because this is part one of a part two. But yeah, definitely can't wait for part two. And this, personally, to me, is my favorite movie of 2025. If if I wanted to count in more realism in the rules, obviously I would put Sinners on the top. But I'm putting this on the top because I'm never going to forget this. I'm hoping this movie comes out on Blu-ray and DVD or comes out in streaming because I'm definitely buying it and I can't wait for part two. This also was a big surprise because I've never heard of this movie. I just looked it up on my phone on the app and I saw that another anime movie was coming out in theaters and I'm just like, okay, I guess I'll check this out to see what kind of movie this is. Saw the trailer, thought it was really cool, and yeah, I definitely this movie surprised me. This movie was a big surprise, caught me off guard, and yeah, it definitely is my favorite movie of 2025. So yep, I'm all done here. I'm sorry that I haven't been on YouTube for such a long time. I apologize, but life has been getting in the way. And yes, I have not gotten to my anime videos. Heck, I haven't even gotten to that Jimmy Neutron video that I said I would be making long ago, which I probably have to get back to. And yeah, a lot of videos I want to get back to, but yeah, I'm kind of in kind of my own little personal world right now where I'm kind of not making videos. However, I will be releasing something very soon. It's not any of those videos that I mentioned, but there are things that honestly I've been interested in kind of doing and see how I do, honestly. And you'll find out very soon enough. So yeah, this is Chris D. Star signing out, and I'll see you next time, Star Chasers.